Okay, so a bit of a change of direction. In light of recent events, what role should leaders play in ensuring that they use inclusive and respectful language?
What recent events would those be?
What recent events would they be? Well, I thought the article that Sandra Sully put out in The Age on Tuesday was pretty good. I think that we've had great... we're in Melbourne, hey, it's footy town. So we'd go to Eddie Maguire, we'd go to the words of Sam Newman the following day. They are some good examples.
About the ANZ CFO.
Yep, we've got, Barnaby Joyce and his playmate and comments that are made in the press as recently as yesterday. There's a lot of stuff out there. This lack of inclusive language.
The DCA's Words at Work initiative, which was really, really well thought through. There's great logic there that just says to all of us, particularly I think a certain element within our workplaces, can you think before you open your mouth, mate? And I am using mate in a very gender-specific sense here. Yeah. Really, again, brought the issue to a fore. And then, inevitably, you could have laid money on this. Those that took umbrage with lots and lots of confected rage, fueled beautifully by the hashtags within Twitter, dive in on one aspect, a passing line in a relatively light-hearted video that simply is another example, never put up as the primary genesis for why we should be more respectful in our workplaces. And then it's like armed insurrection has been called for. And the DCA is full of political correctness and lecturing everybody about how they should behave. Can we just get over this and be more mature, for God's sake? Look, if you're if you're excluded and insulted as a result of somebody saying something to you, particularly in a place of work, particularly when others are there, there's nothing political about that, and it isn't correct, it's incorrect. It's pretty binary in my view. Now, we should be calling this out. If you're going to use social media or traditional media to vilify people, why should you not have consequences to those words? Because words are action in their own right. I'm not going to mention any specific incident, Amanda. I'm deliberately not going to do that. And I'm deliberately not going to mention any of the people who are strident in their criticism of this, because I don't think that we should be the conversation should be defined by them. We can do better. I can do better. I can be more inclusive. I can be more respectful. I can be careful in what I say. But when we are, some really good stuff happens.
And it has brought a really important conversation to the stage. Di.
Also,
is it important?
It is important. The language is important. And I would say that one of the things, and again, I'm not going to go into specific names, but one of the things that makes me absolutely disgusted about politics, and I've voted because I'm going away and I won't be able to vote on Saturday, but I want to play the policies. I want people to talk about where they're going to take Australia. I want people to talk about what the Australia my grandchildren will see. I don't want people making sly, personal comments. And I'm not kidding. The two big parties, no one is better or worse than the other. And that politics is play the person. And some of the comments that have come out in the last 7 weeks, it's like, why would anyone want to work in that workplace? And when I look at Question Time, is it any wonder that they don't have loads of women there? I would not like to go to work and know that that was what was going to be done. The kind of behaviours we see in our politicians, would not be acceptable in most corporate workplaces. And I personally believe it's time it wasn't acceptable for our politicians either.
Yeah.
And the whole thing, and I also went to the launch of that, and it, Words at Work. It was a shame that everyone got up on guys, because quite seriously, guys doesn't even raise my blood pressure or many blood pressures much at all. But there are lots of other phrases, and I'm sure every woman in this room, if you really disagree with something and you become quite assertive about your disagreement, there are at least 5 comments that are either going to be made or assumed. And the nice ones are you're aggressive, you're emotional, it's how women are, and then there's a whole set of others.
Well, she makes a nice cup of tea.
She needs a nice cup of tea, you know, all of those things. And quite seriously, these conversations don't help anything. And I know that most women, when they get really annoyed about something, are more inclined to tears, and men are more inclined to violence. But yet we treat it differently. A lot of men have said to me, what do I do if a woman cries? And I say, you have tissues under your desk. You put them on the desk, you say, excuse me, you go and get 2 glasses of water, you come back, and by that time, she'll be over it. That it's just anger coming to the forefront. I would prefer to cope with that than having someone banging on the desk. Or quite seriously, if I'm sitting at a desk and they're 6'4" and they're leaning over the desk, screaming abuse at me, I find that much worse than a few saltwater tears coming out. So there are assumptions made, there are things said, there are things that are thought. And I did a focus group with a number of non-European women, and they shared some of the things that happen in their workplace. And it's really interesting, the kind of things that make them feel excluded. So it comes back, when you use those words, is there someone in that group who is going to feel that they were just pushed to the side? And they're the words and the expressions we need to change.
Yep. And back into that conscious awareness, thinking about it. And yeah, is it about being professional and appropriate? And where are you? Yeah.
Someone suggested, where was I reading this morning? If you change, a lot of people, we kid ourselves, chairman, we'll call it chairwoman or we'll call it chair. I had a really good friend whose surname was Freeman, and I said, I'll just call you free person. Is that okay? But we're really good friends. But someone said, change all the endings to Whitey. The chair Whitey. The police Whitey. And that brings up all of the things that people who are not necessarily in the in crowd in Australia today experience on a day-to-day basis. And we have to stop that.
Yeah.